Hey everyone, I'm here joined with Martin Woodward, GitHub guru, and I'm so excited to have you here. How are you feeling at Ignite?
Yeah, doing good. The keynote was great this morning.
Yes, yeah.
No,
are you amped up? I'm amped up to have a conversation with you.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Yes, and he's going to be giving us some live demos, so I'm super, super, super excited. People are familiar with GitHub Copilot, but we saw agent mode. Can you talk to me a little bit about how does that work? Is it just in VS Code, or what about some other developmental environments?
Yeah, well, actually, we shipped agent mode to all of the IDEs, so Visual Studio, and then we're just announcing today as well, eclipse, IntelliJ, Xcode. So basically, anywhere where you want to code with developers, we can now do agent mode. But should I show you what agent mode actually is?
Yes, show me. I'd love to.
Now, we're going to try and do some live demos.
Okay,
so see how this
rock
goes.
with us, y'all.
So I'm inside of VS Code here, and then an agent mode is basically the different modes of Copilot. So we can come in and then we can pick what mode we want. So I'm going to say agent mode, and then I'm going to say which model we want. So actually, one of the things we announced this morning as well is we've obviously got Claude support, so Claude Sonnet 4.5, but we also just shipped Gemini 3 support. So let's try that. I actually haven't tried this model yet, so should we give it a go?
Ooh, let's give it a go.
Might as well.
Let's give it a go.
It only shipped this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask if the attendees here have this backpack.
Super cool, super dope.
Yeah, exactly. So but what would be cool to show everybody how cool it is to add a social sharing button, so you can share it on social media or something like that. So let's come in and we'll just ask Copilot to do that for us. The difference about agent mode is it can actually do a more long-running tasks. Originally GitHub Copilot was like auto-completion.
Yeah, exactly.
And then with edit support, it could edit files. Now with agent support, it can analyze your whole code base, figure out what it needs to do, get what additional context it needs to get, and then help you make those changes ready for you to review and then actually test them and things. So it's just completely changed how I work.
Yeah, and I love that because it feels like you all have centered the customer and centered what they want. You're listening to them, which is important, right? And so a big part of today's announcements is agents across the entire DevOps stack and managing them with Agent HQ, right? So how do you see this changing the way that developers utilize and work with GitHub Copilot?
Yeah, so right now we've got an agent, the agent's still running, making the changes for me on screen. And we can come in here, it's actually changed a single file and it's been making some tests. And if I come back, I can come in and I'm going to hit refresh and I'll sort of see, it's already added my button, and it's going to analyze that and actually adjust some styles. So it's going to do the style sheet stuff, so it's making those changes. And we can kind of see it working live as it's working.
Oh, this is
This is cool. There you go. You see it's automatically updated. That's great. And that's in the development inner loop, when you're inside of VS Code. But you're not always in VS Code. You want to be working across the entire, life cycle as a developer. You don't spend all your time coding. Can we just say that's finished and that's working? And that's using that's the first live demo of Gemini 3 Pro anywhere.
Whoa.
So, anyway.
Well, I'm honored that you did it with me.
It's crazy.
You're like, it worked too.
So, like, say if you're in GitHub and you're looking through your backlog and you're looking at issues, and we've got one here that says, make the website more mobile friendly. Well, cool, but that's fairly boring, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to assign that to Copilot. So I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to say, this is UI, so I've got a UI expert in my team. I'm going to just assign that work to Copilot. And now that's going to work on it in the background. And the way that it works is it creates a pull request, and we can actually see here, it's creating a draft pull request for us. So it's going to work asynchronously in the background while you're working on other things like adding social sharing buttons. Or whatever. So that's cool.
It is really cool. And I mean, tell me a little bit, because there's a lot of announcements, right? You're showing demos for the first time. What is like one piece of advice that you want to give to developers as they're entering these new environments?
I think is to look at where you can use Copilot across your whole life cycle. So on a couple of little things, if I quickly show you here, we can come in and we look, you see, here we can use Copilot for code reviews. So I can again assign Copilot as a code reviewer, just like as I did it as assigning an an issue, I can say, hey, can you review this code for me? And so it's, because I'm British, it can spot that I can't spell, but also I spell things like visualizations and stuff wrong. But it can spot code mistakes.
You know what? You speak the right English. Getting a little spicy.
Some may argue, especially my written text. Another thing you can do is actually go assign tasks to Copilot in the background. Again, this is this whole Agent HQ experience. So we saw we added a social button for Twitter, for X. But let's come in here and we'll actually say, create a social sharing button for Instagram, for example. And then I'm going to hit send. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, create a social sharing button for Blue Sky. Whatever you want to do, you know. And so you can, rather than creating lots of to-dos, you can now assign work in parallel. So when you have that idea, just ask Copilot to go do it. And then you can review the PR and say, oh, that's kind of right. And it's close, but you're 80% of the way there. The other thing that we've got is if we come in here, we can look now at the whole life cycle. It's not just developing, you want to be secure. Microsoft Defender for Cloud spots sort of security vulnerabilities and things running in your production environments. I can actually go look, I can do what's called attack path analysis within Defender for Cloud. I can see my whole attack path here. And then if I go into my insights and come in, that's cool. And it's giving me all my security issues. But that's kind of in ops land. And if you're a dev, you're not looking in this all the time. So what we've actually done is we've integrated Defender for Cloud with Copilot and with GitHub. So I can come in and I can do what's called, I can create a security campaign. And I can say, I can filter by exactly those same things we were doing in Defender. So give me the critical resource, actually, now let's give me internet exposed, sensitive data issues. That's going to give me all those. I'm going to create that as a new campaign, and I'm going to give it a name, live, and I'm going to pick a due date. Well, we'll give a day of team to the end of this week.
This is so cool.
Hit short description, that'll do. Hit publish campaign. So now my team has a campaign of things they need to fix. I can come in here and I can look at what's going on. Now, again, fixing security issues. Cool, important, boring. So I can come in and I can just tick, like, let's say, pick these ones here, pick the first 4 that they look kind of important. Let's do those, and let's actually go and we'll assign those to Copilot. So it can do that thing in the background for you. And then the last couple of things I'll show you here, and then is, if you're using Copilot in an enterprise, you want to be able to have governance and controls over how it's used, what's being used. Yeah, show us a little bit about that, because I think that the governance piece is what it's very important.
Yeah,
well, first thing you want to do is check, are people actually using Copilot, first of all. So we now have metrics, so you can see how much of your team's using Copilot, where they're using it, what models are they using, that sort of thing. But then on the governance side, we can come in and we can look and we can say, oh yeah, these are the different models we have enabled. These are the different clients we have enabled. We can set our agents. So I said we had a custom agent for doing UI. I can define those here, including all agents across the whole DevOps stack. I can also define, say, my MCP servers, and that's also where I specify like my custom, my custom instructions and things like that.
And like we talked a little bit about MCP, and you just touched on it a little bit. We talked a bit about that in the keynote, right? Can you tell me more about this, and where does it fit in, especially with GitHub Copilot?
Sorry, model context protocol.
Yes.
Sorry, if I shouldn't have just blah 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 words. Okay.
So for those who don't know.
Exactly. Model context protocol is how you connect your model to your tools.
Okay, brilliant.
And so in the development stack, that's very important, because that's like, not everything's in GitHub. You might have data in Azure DevOps, you might have data in Jira, wherever it is. And so MCP allows you to connect them together. And you can actually now, inside of Visual Studio, just come and configure your MCP servers. Pick what, if you want one for Azure, whatever you want to do, you can just configure that there. And you can set them for the organization as well.
I mean, don't you all love an acronym? So we've just added a new one to the pile, MCP. But you've worked with all the teams at Microsoft, GitHub, a lot of folks in the industry that are developing AI tools. So what is one thing that you wish people knew?
Honestly, it's probably custom instructions. I don't think enough people, if I just quickly show you one, the custom instructions files, if you think how an LLM works, it uses the context of your code. Custom instructions tells the LLM what you want your code to be in the future.
Okay.
And so how you want things to happen. And that way you can set your coding standards and tell it how, like this bit of code you're generating, make it look like this and use this logging framework, use this thing. Otherwise, it's just going to go based on what it can see in the existing code base. The code I wrote yesterday was terrible. You know, I want to write better code tomorrow. And that's why I think people should use custom instructions more to help people with that.
I love that because it is truly a co-pilot, right?
Exactly.
Like it's hanging with you, it's supporting you, and I think that's like the biggest thing that you would want as a customer, as somebody who's using these tools. So thank you so much for joining me.
You're very welcome.
I think where should people go to learn more, Martin?
Yeah, so we did a load of announcements about this Agent HQ. So if you go to aka.ms/ahq for Agent HQ, you'll find out all about it and you can learn more there.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Take care, everyone, and check out all the sessions. You can enjoy the full Microsoft Ignite show, and I'll hope to catch you later. Take care.